Now, if you followed any of this over the years, you would know Nintendo have done this multiple times. They're the serial repeat offender of just coming to the West, looking at YouTubers making videos and just removing their videos for DMCA. They've done it for people using trailer clips. They've done it for people using music. They've done it for people doing Let's Plays of their games. Nintendo just seemingly don't understand that no other company does this, and it's awful. And almost always there's a massive backlash, rightfully so, because gamers typically don't like. And of course, the entire space would be absolutely untenable if companies were just DMCAing creators for showing gameplay, showing trailers, using the in-game audio within their videos, talking about the game, playing the game. And a lot of the times they walk this back, but here they are again doing it again. Point Crow video, 1.6 million subscriber YouTube channel. We're going to have a look what they say in why they removed this man's videos this time.
Nintendo has decided to take down my and other content creators' videos. I ask that you watch this full video. So
it's a Monday again. Yeah, they're back. They're doing it again. Mom, they're doing it again.
You understand the entire situation because it affects you and the content creators that you may support. Also, this is a prepared statement reviewed by my lawyer. So if it seems like I'm reading from a script,
it's because he is.
Because I am.
Yeah.
My main hope is that if somebody at Nintendo watches this, they will listen to what I have to say and consider reversing their decision to claim these videos. So, hi. I'm Eric, or Point Crow. I make videos playing games, sometimes in strange ways.
You motherfucker. You stop that. I'm Nintendo, and I'm here to tell you, you stop enjoying our video games. You naughty, naughty boy. Stop it. Our video games are not for people to enjoy. Gamers literally exist. And Nintendo, I took offense to that Michael Jordan meme. Perfect fitting meme.
But for today, it's important for you to know that
and I took that. I took that personally. I don't know. Look at the time, guys. It's fucking 3:20 a.m. I'm drinking coffee. I've only just woke up. I've got a headache. I spent multiple hours reading legal documents yesterday. My life's an absolute shambles.
On occasion, I modify the games I play and explore what happens when the game mechanics are a little different. Most recently, I modified The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild to become a multiplayer game. To be clear, I have never encouraged piracy of Nintendo's games. The mods that I've commissioned are not being sold, and all of the code is custom, meaning that they are free of Nintendo assets. On April 6th, 1 week ago, Nintendo decided to block all 4 videos that I put up on YouTube playing the multiplayer mod. I appealed their decision, as I'm very much in line with their content guideline policies.
Yeah,
we'll go over that in a moment. And these videos are fair use. Nintendo then escalated and issued a copyright strike against my YouTube channel. Not once, but twice. Rather than bundle the videos all into one copyright strike, Nintendo issued a copyright strike for one video and then bundled the other 3 into another strike.
Oh man, I've got some experience with this recently. Basically, how YouTube's new copyright system works, if people don't know, because it has changed over the years and YouTube are a little bit better about actually looking at things like this. How it used to work was when somebody was trying to send you a copyright takedown request as a DMCA, as people know it more commonly, they can essentially do all of the videos and they can do one of 2 things. You have 2 options. You have option 1, which is I'm not a dickhead option, which is we give you 7 days to remove the offending material. And if you do, no copyright strikes, no harm, no foul. You know, we're good faith people and we're just saying in good faith, please stop using our videos. We believe that you're infringing our copyright, and if you remove them, all good, right? No problem whatsoever. You can then obviously, within those 7 days, choose not to remove the videos, in which case they're removed for you if the copyright takedown is valid, deemed by YouTube, of course, as a safe harbor platform, which they are required to do if it looks valid. Or if you don't reply whatsoever, the videos are taken down and you get strikes. But again, within those 7 days, you can just remove the videos. Then there's the dickhead option, which is we are striking these videos. We don't give you any notice. And if YouTube says, yeah, those are valid copyright takedown notices, you immediately get strikes. Now, they can obviously do all of this with, say, there's 10 videos. They can do all 10 videos within one notice. And if so, and YouTube takes them all down because it's the same content provider, basically, you get 1 strike. Now, if you don't know, on YouTube, if you get 3 copyright strikes, your channel is banned. So there is only 2 reasons to, 1, go straight to DEFCON, whatever's the highest, and do the initial strikes without giving you the opportunity to just say, you know what, fuck it, and remove the videos. And 2, do all the videos in different actual sets of strikes, which means, obviously, if there's 3 offending videos and they do 1, 2, 3, and YouTube says, yeah, they're valid, they just delete your channel, your entire livelihood, your business, your career, everything you've worked for however many years, all those subscribers, your revenue, your literal job is gone forever. And of course, when you're banned on YouTube once, they ban your AdSense account, which means you can't make other channels, which means any channels that you have, which most YouTubers have alt channels, also gets permanently terminated, and you cannot physically make another YouTube channel. You can't make another AdSense account, so you're just permabanned from the platform. So there's only 2 options when somebody does this. 1 is incompetence and not knowing the repercussions of what you're doing, and 2 is malevolence, where you're saying, you know, fuck these people, I'm going to ruin their life by doing it in this manner. Now, what you'll tend to find is that if somebody does it in multiple batches, they are literally just trying to ruin your life. Now, I'm not saying this is the case for Nintendo, because I will say Japanese companies, for some reason, do not understand the internet very well. If you use Japanese internet, if you go on their websites, it's designed like websites from the early 2000s, late 90s. They also don't have like a massive PC online gaming culture in Japan. So a lot of these companies basically don't understand how like Western media generally does things, or what's, you know, generally accepted practices. And this is potentially an excuse as to why this shit keeps happening with them and why they keep doing things in this manner. Of course, there's no excuse to make for them. They're in the wrong, in my opinion. And of course, one thing I failed to explain is if you receive a DMCA, whether it's the 7-day or the immediate takedown, essentially you have 7 to 10 days, depending on the platform, to say, I counterclaim this, which then goes back to YouTube, and YouTube puts forward to the company, oh, by the way, they've counterclaimed, the ball's now in your court. You then have 10 days. You then have 7 to 10 days to file a lawsuit based on those claims against the person who you're alleging is offending on your copyright. And if you don't, YouTube will remove any limitations on the videos. They'll go back up and everything's good. That, of course, doesn't stop them later bringing a lawsuit, but it essentially solves it on YouTube's end until that point. If you file a counterclaim and they just don't do anything, then it basically just goes away until eventually, if they did file that. If you don't file a counterclaim, obviously whatever YouTube upholds is the actual decision. Long story short, just turned like a 1-minute explanation into like a 5-minute one, but okay.
Deliberately putting my channel in danger, but not taking it down completely. I was able to get an email address for Nintendo and sent a message asking that we discuss what's going on and try to reach an amicable resolution that would make both parties happy.
Yeah.
I heard nothing back so far.
Adult thing to do, yeah.
If you would like to read it.
I hope this email finds you well. My name is Eric, and I'm the owner of Point Crow, and the channels, which have received 2 copyright takedown notices in the last week from Nintendo without explanation, are videos posted in alignment with Nintendo's game content guideline for online video and image sharing platforms, and are also protected by the principles of fair use. These copyright takedown notices have put my company and my livelihood in jeopardy. True. And I would welcome the opportunity to discuss the reasoning behind Nintendo's submission of these notices. Please contact me no later than noon Eastern, April 12th, 2023, so that we may reach an amicable resolution. Let me move it off of the very bright screen. The reason he's giving them a date and time to do so is because he would have a date and time he would need to, you know, do something in terms of those things, like I said, with the counter notice, which is the only way to fight something like this, unless you're just going to take the strikes on the chin and just hope that, for whatever reason, none of your backlog of videos receives another strike randomly within the next 90 days for those strikes to fall off, or you're fucked. Your life is over. This is very serious business, and he's not wrong when he says that people should be talking about this. People should be signal boosting it like I am now. Obviously, his channel's way bigger than mine, so it's not as big of a deal. But people need to be aware that this is not about an individual case for an individual, because this impacts everybody, not just YouTubers, but people who watch content. If you are watching this video now, if you're watching his videos, any other gaming YouTuber, anytime something like this comes up where somebody's DMCAing a YouTuber for using footage, trailers, soundtracks, anything related to a video game in a YouTube video, if you do not fight back against this as a collective, it essentially means that any company based on this precedent will be able to do this to everybody, which means no more content on YouTube for you to watch. You can't make content on YouTube using any of these things. It's a very big deal, and that's why people need to every single time fight back against this in every way possible.
24 more of my videos from my channels. Most of them are modded content. A lot of them are Breath of the Wild, but not all of them are. This is key. They also claimed videos containing footage from Super Mario Odyssey, the Pokemon series, and Wii Sports Resort from my channel. The most surprising one, though, was a claim from one of my first videos back in 2019, marrying Sidon and a bookshelf to create Hyrule's first car. It's just a regular vanilla gameplay video of Breath of the Wild. These takedowns aren't exclusive to my channel either. Over the course of the next couple days, Nintendo is taking down videos from other channels as well. Croton, another very prominent YouTuber, has had at least 10 live streams and 2 videos removed. Importantly, one of those videos is simply a challenge video, detailing how the game would be played if the player decided to explore Zelda with certain restrictions the player has imposed on themselves.
Yeah, this is crazy. They did, like I say, Nintendo do this at least once a year. If you literally just Google Nintendo DMCA YouTubers, you're just going to find a whole bunch of articles from different years. I'm in Thailand, so the date's weird, but it's not really relevant. If you go through and just Google this and click links from different years, you'll see this happens every year, every 2 years.
These takedowns may have started with modded content, but they have spiraled into something else entirely. So now you know what's happening. At this time, my channel has had 29 videos taken down, 2 copyright strikes, and Nintendo does not seem to be stopping the removal of videos from other creators on YouTube. So let me really levy the importance of this on you, the viewer. Nintendo is sending takedowns and strikes against the creators showing content of their games. It's not just modded content. They've shown that they're striking down regular gameplay videos as well. It's sporadic, and their enforcement of their copyright is incredibly uneven. The thing is, without even considering fair use, all of these videos are very clearly in line with Nintendo's own game content guidelines for online video and image sharing platforms, which I will include in the description below. I will also read it for you here. From their FAQ, what types of content are acceptable under the guidelines? What types of content are not acceptable? We encourage you to use Nintendo game content in videos and images that feature your creative input and commentary. For example, Let's Play videos and video game reviews are within the scope of the guidelines. However, you may not simply upload a live stream of an existing Nintendo video, gameplay footage without your own creative input, or a copy of content created by someone else. For example, mere copies of Nintendo promotional trailers, tournaments, music soundtracks, gameplay sequences, and art collections are outside the scope of the guidelines. You might argue that
that would also be outside the scope of fair use in general. So why is Nintendo saying this part? I'm not going to go back because it's very bright and it hurts my current headache. Why Nintendo saying, oh, we encourage you to do it if you have creative input and you're, saying things, showing things? It's because that's fair use. If you're just uploading like, oh, Nintendo ran a tournament and then you just upload the tournament, your content is not transformative in any way. It's a direct market substitute for the thing that already exists that isn't yours. But if somebody's playing a video game and showing you playing the video game and talking about what they're doing in the video game, why they're removing people's videos, that is completely against fair use, which again, fair use is a defense. You fight that in court. You fight the copyright takedowns in court as a defense with fair use. It's not something that just applies. That's for a court to deem, is this fair use? But generally, obviously, people don't want to be getting to the point of going to court over something that very blatantly is.
Modded content is in violation of these guidelines. But historically, that's not the case.
Yeah, this is the only thing with this one, the modded content. Game developers obviously have a different opinion on this, and if I was going to choose, 1, a company, and 2, a region to have problem, to take offense, and to copyright strike based on modded content, I would absolutely 100% of the time choose Japan, and I would choose Nintendo. Japan for the reasons I listed earlier, because generally, again, in Japan, there's not a big PC gaming culture in the first place. Internet, modding, things like that, they're not anywhere near as big or as prevalent as in the West. And of course, then Nintendo just being a company that seems like it's just archaic over there. It's just like dinosaur territory of how do we deal with things that are going on that we don't really understand. Do we try to understand, or do we just issue copyright takedowns and claims? And it seems like that's what they go to 9 times out of 10.
Terms of service for The Legend of Zelda says you cannot modify the game, but it also says that you cannot stream it, You cannot make videos of it, and you cannot otherwise broadcast it.
Imagine putting that in your terms of service. You can't give us free advertising by playing the game and showing other people playing the game. If we lived in Nintendo's world, man, there would be no video game content on YouTube. It just wouldn't exist. Play the game, talk about the game, show trailers, talk about upcoming games. It just wouldn't exist. Full stop. It's fucking wild, man.
Nintendo's game content guidelines changes this, though, by providing a license on top of the existing terms of service, which modifies the terms of service for content creators. All of the videos that they have taken down are in compliance with their own policies. I use Nintendo game content in my videos, and they are all featuring my creative input and commentary throughout the duration of the medium. Now, this is a little scary because the precedent that they set with this case may apply.
This is what I was talking about earlier.
Heavily for their upcoming release of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. As per their decisions to take down gameplay and challenge videos alongside the modified content, it'll be difficult for any content creator to post creative concepts without having the fear of Nintendo exercising their copyright over a video that is in line with their own policies. In fact, what they've demonstrated here is that they will ignore their own policies and licenses to selectively enforce their intellectual property. So, if you've uploaded any video that features any Nintendo content, no matter how transformative or directly in line with their published guidelines, you are at risk. Given these decisions, I'm hesitant.
Again, let me just reiterate that obviously what usually happens with things like case law is if this ever went to court, I think Nintendo would lose, obviously, if it was fought competently, because this is blatantly fair use. But let's just imagine, for whatever reason, it went to court and Nintendo won. It just destroys YouTube and live streaming, because then essentially any other company can point to this case and say, we're in the right. You can't stream our games. You can't play our games. You can't commentate. You can't talk about our things on screen, basically. But what Nintendo's doing here is proving that if you're just a big company, you can just do this, and unless the person's going to sue you and take you to court as Nintendo or whatever other big company, we're just basically allowed to strike people's videos, and YouTube's going to comply with it because it's Nintendo. It's a company that they would obviously assume that Nintendo's, right. They're not perjuring themselves with these DMCAs, that they've considered fair use, and it's not YouTube's job at the end of the day to decide whether or not it is, because again, they're a safe harbor platform, and this is what you've got to adhere to with DMCAs. This whole system needs to change, obviously. The whole 3-strike system, and obviously looking at who is a malicious, malevolent actor versus somebody who's just doing what is commonly accepted.
Hesitant to post videos of myself playing Tears of the Kingdom, even with my creative input and commentary, for fear that they will also be taken down.
Yeah, you just can't.
I hope that is not the case. So, what am I going to do? Nothing. I can't do much of anything about this other than plead with Nintendo and move away from this kind of content. My other option is to appeal the DMCA notices and risk a multi-million-dollar lawsuit.
Yeah, it's literally the only way. I mean, you could crowdfund it. That would be the only thing. He has 3 options. Bend over, counterclaim the notices, and then prepare for their either dropping, like I explained earlier, or their inevitable lawsuit, which, even if you're right, is a massive headache, a massive amount of money that's going to be thrown into a pit. And civil lawsuits are a circus. There is no guarantee, even if you are 100% in the right, that you win. And again, if you go to court and for whatever reason you don't have the best lawyers, and they do have the best lawyers because it's fucking Nintendo, and they win, you fuck everybody. Everybody is fucked based on that decision. Until that's overturned, that is the case law that will be pointed to. So essentially, you're taking it on your shoulders to be the person. So obviously, fighting this is a massive commitment for everybody. And of course, that's why if this was to go forward, it should be crowdfunded, and people should throw money at this, whether you're a creator or a viewer, because you cannot allow things like this to happen. It's just awful. If you understand the ramifications, it cannot be allowed to stand. And the third option is public pressure, which is what you're doing now with this video, and that's probably the best option always, because Nintendo historically have walked some of these things back due to the backlash.
So even if I'm in the right here, that risks my channel, my livelihood, and the livelihoods of my team. I don't want to go through that.
And everybody else.
And I'm left questioning the future of the content that I'm allowed to make. So I'm releasing this video, informing you all of what's going on in this community and using this as an open letter to Nintendo. So here's my explicit message to Nintendo. I love the games that you make, the stories you tell, the ideas that you explore, from giving me the closest moments that I've had with my friends to my mom calling every electronic device I own a Nintendo. You mentioned in your content guidelines that you are humbled every day by the loyalty and passion for Nintendo's games, characters, and world, and respect that we want to be able to express ourselves creatively by sharing our own videos and images using content from your game. And if you truly respect us and are humbled by this community, don't take this creativity away from us. These channels you've targeted, these videos you're claiming are from some of the people that are most passionate about your games. You're stifling that imagination and punishing those who want to share it with others when they do it in the way that you have outlined for us creators. Please remove these strikes and claims, or at least start a dialogue with us so we can figure this out and all move forward with the excitement I'm sure you would love to see about your future games. You have my contact information already from the DMCA and the email that I've sent. I'll be waiting eagerly for your response. So thanks.
Very well done video. You can definitely tell it was curated because it needs to be. You can't afford to go live and just start talking about potential lawsuits just in case you say something that you can't. So definitely done in the way that it needed to be done. And again, this is such a fucking huge deal. People just generally don't get it because unless you've dealt with something like this yourself, unless you've spoke to lawyers about things like this, unless you've followed how this stuff goes, it's so much bigger than an individual. And this is already a big creator anyway, a big channel. This impacts everybody, and everybody should be talking about this. Anytime anything like this happens, whether it's from a small company, a medium company, big company against a small creator, big creator, it matters not. This impacts everybody if it's allowed to stand. You cannot let companies continue to do stuff like this. We've missed the boat so many times over the years as a collective of gamers and as a community as a whole, that have allowed companies to erode and diminish some of the things that we hold dear. And we can't let this be another one because this one is so obvious and it's so in your face. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll leave a link to the video in the description and definitely show support for this because, like I say, huge deal. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Peace.